Dude, music is one of the most ruthless markets, maybe the most ruthless market in the world. I can't tell you how many, like, I still watch a lot of amazing musicians on YouTube just for fun. I can't tell you how many 18-year-old kids that I watch on YouTube who can play circles around what I could play at my peak. And I just look at, I'm like, I'm so glad I quit music. My God. But to finish that story really quick, I remember I got desperate. So there was one guy in my program who was just clearly better than everybody else. Like, he was the one guy everybody was like, that guy's going to make it. And so I cornered him in the cafeteria the next day. And I was like, dude, I'm having a crisis here. And he's like, oh yeah, what's going on? I'm like, kind of like laid it all out. I'm like, I'm doing this, and I'm practicing this, and I'm trying this. And my teacher said, no, I'm just not practicing enough. I started asking him questions. I'm like, how much do you practice, man? And he was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? And he's like, I haven't really thought about it. I was like, okay, well, like how do you approach a new piece? Like, what's your process? You know, how much time do you spend on each part? What's the warm up? And he was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just kind of like sit down and figure it out. And like, he couldn't explain to me what he was doing. And I was like, okay, if you had to guess how many hours a day are you like physically playing your instrument? And he was like, I don't know, like 8 or 12, but I've never really sat down and counted. That's an interesting question. It blew my fucking mind that this guy was just naturally, unconsciously doing all of the behaviors that were required to be a top level musician. He did end up making it. And I remember that conversation, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Like,
yeah. I had one friend who made it as a bass player, and it was his entire life. But he loved it. Like, he would be watching TV, practicing fretting.
Yeah.
And he would listen to a click track just normally.
Yeah.
Like, that would be his background instead of listening to music or whatever, a click track.
Yeah.
And at different, BPMs, and that was it. And he would just internalize it. And you give him, you say, play 90 BPM on this. He would just do it.
Yeah.
It was so instinctual for him.
We all have a natural competitive advantage somewhere. Our personalities are different. Our interests are different. Our proclivities are different. Like, there's something in each of our lives that we naturally do well that most people don't, or it takes a lot of effort for most people. And the tricky thing about it is that the things that we naturally do well, they're so natural to us that we don't realize that we do it well. Like, it never occurred to me I was a good writer. I would get on forums, I would get on music forums, and I would like start arguing with a guy about like which band is better. And I would write, like, my idea of a fun Friday night was writing like a 10-page dissertation on why this Tool album is better than this Tool album or whatever. That's like what I did for fun. And it never occurred to me that that was writing and that I was good at it. And I think people make that mistake a lot, that it is, because it is so unconsciously natural to them, they don't realize they've gotten so good at it, and that's actually their huge competitive advantage.